I don't think Jake Paul is interesting. I don't think Jake Paul is funny. I don't think he has any personality whatsoever. I don't think he has any redeeming qualities whatsoever. I dislike Jake Paul. I do not like Jake Paul. I have never liked Jake Paul in my entire life, and I will never like Jake Paul because I am over the age of 10. He did not just get beaten up by Floyd Mayweather, and the fact that literally 99% of Twitter is acting as though he did proves my theory that I've had for a long time in life, that 90% of humans are literally just AI filler that don't even have a conscious thought of their own, and they just repeat whatever they're told to repeat. And it's absolutely crazy to me. Maybe it's just 99% of people on Twitter that are like this, but I've never seen so many people just blatantly lie about what they saw. There is a massive trend going around after Jake Paul and Floyd Mayweather have an altercation. Jake Paul took Floyd Mayweather's hat, says, "Gotcha hat," ran away with it. And then Floyd Mayweather's security team jumped on Jake Paul, grabbed a hold of him, did not do any damage to him whatsoever. And I'll talk about that in a second because you're going to talk about a black eye. I know it's mad to me how everyone is believing this. Jake Paul got a black eye. Jake Paul just got beaten up by Floyd Mayweather. Did you see Jake Paul getting beaten up by Mayweather for trying to be tough? None of that happened. Floyd Mayweather literally didn't land a single touch on Jake Paul whatsoever the entire time. I've seen it from every single angle. I recommend a video right now for you guys to go and check out called "Jake Paul Gets Beaten Up by Mayweather," in brackets best perspective, by a channel with the name AZOH. Azo is the channel's name. There's a great angle where you can see Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul from the back, which is an angle that no one else seems to have. And you can see that Floyd Mayweather literally doesn't touch Jake Paul once with anything. No one touches Jake Paul whatsoever. They've completely played everyone in society right now. They've played on your emotion to hate Jake Paul, and they've built up a future Floyd Mayweather versus Jake Paul fight. Once Floyd Mayweather is done with Logan Paul, he will now take on Jake Paul, and the thing that you hated in the first place of Logan Paul versus Mayweather will now happen again in the form of Jake Paul taking on Floyd Mayweather afterwards, and everything you hated about it, you have now recreated if you are one of those people that think that Jake Paul just got beaten up by Floyd Mayweather. I've watched it from every angle. He did not get beaten up. He did not get touched once. He got shoved to the ground at one point, and that's why he took some damage, in my opinion. Shoved to the ground. He got strangled as well by security guards. Floyd Mayweather had his hand around the back of Jake Paul's neck at one point and was starting to pull at Jake Paul's hair at one point in the altercation. Floyd Mayweather had very many opportunities to land punches on Jake Paul based on the video I'm watching right now, and I'm watching Floyd Mayweather literally hold back punches while looking at Jake Paul being covered by his security guards, screaming a whole bunch of nonsense like he's just beaten up Jake Paul. Jake Paul takes the hat. Floyd Mayweather does nothing until Jake Paul starts running away with the hat and mocking him a little bit. Then Floyd Mayweather goes after him. The security team jump on Jake Paul, push him to the ground. I just want to give some real obvious things that no one seems to be thinking right now. It takes a day to get a bruise. No one in Logan Paul's team gave Jake Paul a black eye. It typically takes 24 hours for a bruise to appear. A black bruise. You can have a red swelling around your eye. Your eye can go red and swell up immediately. It typically takes a very long time in order to get a black eye. In order for the hemoglobin that carries oxygen in the blood to get to it, it takes about a day. Other than that, it's red. It's red and swollen up. It's not a black eye. He did not get a black eye from Floyd Mayweather whatsoever. Floyd Mayweather never landed a punch on him whatsoever. He has always had a chipped tooth where he has that tooth. Both him and Logan Paul literally have the same teeth, where these two teeth go way higher up than the front two. They've had that their entire life. You all hate Jake Paul, and you're just making up what you've just seen. I've seen channels like The Weasel talk about this is how you get what you deserve. Like, people are just frustrating their anger of Jake Paul. I hate him as well. I hate Jake Paul. I just watched him get grabbed by a bunch of fucking girls. Like, not girls, like, I'm insulting the security guards. He got grabbed. His face went red. He was in a heated situation. He covered his face so as not to get hit by anyone. No one hit him whatsoever. What the fuck is everyone talking about? People are literally out there saying, man, Jake Paul thinks he's tough. In one punch, he got a black eye and a chipped tooth. People were acting as if Floyd Mayweather's one punch gave Jake Paul a black eye and a chipped tooth. One fist. Eye, teeth. There has never been more delusional. I've never seen this much delusion. They literally staged the entire thing. No one actually got hurt whatsoever, man. I think humanity is AI. I don't understand if they're humans. Everyone on Twitter is right now talking about how Jake Paul just got beaten up by Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather literally stood on the outside of his bodyguards grabbing Jake Paul like an absolute pussy. People don't understand, man. People are going to give Mayweather so much credit for this. I would spike Floyd Mayweather on his head within 2 seconds and he'd never walk again. He's a little dwarf of a man. He's pathetic. I would spike him on his head within 2 seconds in a real life encounter and he would never walk again. Jake Paul would do exactly the same thing to that little manlet Floyd Mayweather who beat his wife. This is 100% staged. The fact that anyone is believing this is the craziest thing in my entire life. But it just goes to show how dumb 70% of humanity is. It's actually crazy to me, man. They literally had a scuffle. Nothing happened to Jake Paul. He's going to get even richer now. Oh. People think that black eyes happen once you get punched in the eye. Once you get a fucking boom, boom, can of something to the eye. People think a black eye just happens. It is the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. People think he actually got hit. He never got hit once. There's clips of Mayweather pulling at his hair. Pulling at his hair. Grabbing his head. Like, this is the stupidest thing. I could smack myself as many times as I want in the eye right now. With whatever I want to smack myself with in the eye. Like, I can just fucking crash can after can, non-stop, into my fucking eye. Into my eye. It will not become black. It takes 24 hours. It will go red. It will go red like it is right now. It will not become black. It takes literally 24 hours for the oxygen to run out where the red is in your eye before it becomes stagnated, the hemoglobin leaves, and it becomes a black eye. I've never seen something so dumb in my life, man. And I hate Jake Paul. Why am I defending him? I'm not defending him. Because he knew this as well. He had merch called Gotcha Hat before he even grabbed Floyd Mayweather's hat. Do I have a black eye right now? No, not whatsoever. Oh, I'm so tired today, man. I'm so fucking tired. Mayweather's gonna get all this credit. And he literally just stood there like a pussy. He just stood like a pussy on the outside while his fucking body, the best boxer on earth, and his 50 bodyguards that he needs to survive in real life encounters, just stood on the outside while his security guards grabbed at Jake Paul and did nothing to him whatsoever other than at one point they fell over and they went on the ground. They pushed him to the ground at one point. Mayweather stood on the outside talking. And now he's walking around like he just beat up Jake Paul. This is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. And before you tell me that Jake Paul was crying by the sound in his voice, I've seen that angle as well. He was not crying. He has been in a physical altercation. When that happens, your adrenaline rises and your voice does weird things. And you do not function as you would do normally when you are sitting at home in your chair. The absence of logic that people are choosing to ignore things that they've known their entire life to act as though Floyd Mayweather just beat up Jake Paul. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It takes literally around a minimum of 24 hours to get a black eye. Around a minimum of 24 hours to get a black eye. Look up Jake Paul teeth. Right now, look up Jake Paul teeth. You can go to Jake Paul's teeth. When he is not wearing those shiny ones, you can go to older pictures of him, scroll down just a tiny bit, and you will see that his teeth go up in that area anyway, and so do Logan Paul's. Scroll long enough, you will find this information. It is so easy to control humanity. No wonder things happen the way they do sometimes with certain things. Can't even get into that right now. It is so easy to absolutely brainwash humanity. People I respected, voices I respected, are acting as though Jake Paul just got beaten up because they hate him so much, they're lying to themselves. Nothing happened to him. He's always had those teeth. There was no blood in his mouth. He was red because he was being grabbed and choked at one point around his neck. Okay? His shirt got ripped. He didn't get hit once. You don't get a black eye. You don't get a black eye. You just don't get a black eye that quickly. And now we're going to do Jake Paul Mayweather. Because of you dummies on Twitter. You absolute robot humans. This is why I'm not on Twitter or Instagram, man. I swear it dumbs people down and codes their brain differently because everyone on there is so dumb. Non-stop. Just absolutely dumb as fuck. Everyone's jumping in. Wow, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, black eye. It's just so... so retarded in my life. Everyone's acting like he got what was coming to him. He did. He did get what was coming to him. And he's going to get more of what's coming to him as well. You know what's coming to him? Millions of your fucking dollars. Millions of your dollars. That's what's coming to Jake Paul. Now we've got Jake Paul versus Mayweather coming up afterwards. He did not have a bloody mouth. He did not have a black eye from that situation. Why did he start the scene with sunglasses on? Who knows, guys? Why did he have a merch that said "Gotcha hat" before the altercation even happened? Before he even knew that Mayweather was going to have a hat. He didn't even know that Mayweather was going to have a hat on when they encountered each other. And he has merch that says "Got your hat." Man, this world is the dumbest. You know the worst part about all of this is? People act like Mayweather's a savage. I would fuck up Mayweather. If he was on his own with me in a room, I would fuck up Mayweather. I'd twist him in any way I want to. I'd pick him up and swing him round like a little kid. He's literally 5'3". Jake Paul, if he wanted to, would pick up Floyd Mayweather, dunk him on his head, and smash his face in on the canvas. Or the ground. Whatever happens. Logan Paul would shoot a double leg on Floyd Mayweather. He would be on the ground crying for his life and begging for security guards to come and save him, while Logan Paul smashes his face in with whatever he wants to do, whilst Floyd Mayweather is on the ground. It is the craziest mass delusion I've ever seen in my life. Mayweather literally stood on the outside like an absolute fucking pussy coward, while everyone else did everything and all the grabbing for him, and did nothing, and people were calling him a hero that just beat up Jake Paul. This world is not meant for me and my type with brains. I'm going to take off and go to Mars. Soon as Elon allows it, man, I'm leaving this fucking place, man. People are so fucking dumb. Honestly. Several chipped teeth. Look up, Jake. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like and subscribe, guys. Do I have a black eye? Anyone? How many more times do I have to smash anything into my eye? Do I have a black eye, anyone? No? Not at all? Not even any swelling? You stupid little cunts. Bye. I'm so annoyed today, man. I'm not even making this fucking video. It's a joke. Stop talking about him. Oh, it's like people hate Jake Paul so much, they forgot how bruises work. Like and subscribe, man.